Welcome in, Aggie fans. Our interview series continues. We're with Cedric Cormier, Aggie football wide receivers coach, as we talk to the position coaches leading up to the 2026 season. Adam Young with you. Coach, appreciate the time. How's your off-season been so far?
It's been busy. We just got off the road doing a lot of the summer camps, whatnot, traveling until we went to Texas and to Arizona State. Then we went out to California to the Redlands University to their camp. So we've been ripping and running, and then we had walkthroughs with our guys this morning. So it's been kind of hectic so far this June.
I know off-season has kind of changed during the course of time with the transfer portal nowadays. And do you feel like you value your off-season a little bit more in the time you get to spend with family and friends now?
Well, no doubt. It's always good to kind of recharge because the calendar now is just so kind of all over the place where January 2nd, you're in the office and you're on the phone with portal recruits and you're going. Yeah, so we've literally been going since January 2nd.
Wow. Going back to spring ball, what impressed you the most about your group during spring ball?
Just the competitiveness. It's the second year in the system, so the guys kind of knew. Most of the guys knew what they were doing from a situational standpoint and a scheme standpoint. So this spring was a lot of just competition. Guys getting out there competing and pulling for one another, but at the same time trying to level up their game to where they're a guy that we can count on.
When I look at the group that you have, Coach, on paper, it seems like a really good mix of returners and newcomers. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's got a lot of guys that played a year ago, a lot of guys that have played the past 2 years since I've been here. A guy like TJ Pryor was a starter 2 years ago. He's still here, and now he's kind of the veteran of the group there. He came in as a freshman, now he's a veteran. A guy like TK King was here last year and played quite a bit. Brody Malone played quite a bit. And then you have guys, the newcomers, and Miles Lippman this spring. A.J. Williams did not play for us in the fall, so he's pretty much a newcomer. Terrion Graves came back from an injury, so he was a newcomer. Lyndon Rivard, so it's a lot of, like you said, a good mix of guys.
Let's start with TK. What we got to watch and witness during 8 games last year was pretty special. Having a centerpiece of an offensive group come back, how important was that for you guys?
It was big, and he wanted to be here. I mean, that was something that he's told me from the jump. He said, Coach, I want to be here. So that was huge for him coming back here. And what he did those 8 games was just, like I said, the way he started his 8-game stretch versus Sam Houston and the way he ended the game, the last game versus Middle Tennessee, that's as good a game you're going to ever see how the guys play there in that 8-game stretch.
Is there still another level that we can watch TK get to?
There's definitely another level, and he'd be the first one to tell you that. It's a lot he's just really scratching the surface, honestly. I think the sky's the limit for him. The way he goes out and competes every day that's his edge, but now we got to try to channel it in the right way as far as the scheme and whatnot, just having him understanding coverages a little better. But he's a willing learner. That's why I think it's going to be a big season for him.
Another guy just scratching the surface is Brody Malone Bradford, who had a really good freshman year for you guys last year. What kind of growth did you see, though, from Brody going back to the spring?
So what we saw, I told him after the season, what we saw from November on, that month of November, that was as good a football. He played his best football in November. And then so he carried it over to the spring. I mean, the spring game, you saw him had 2 big-time touchdowns in the spring game, and just kind of, he's 6'5", 215 pounds, but something you forget, he was just a true freshman last year. So his ceiling is super high, and he's a great kid to be around. You want him to keep enjoying himself there and keep reminding him that you're still young, you still got a lot of room to grow, and he's a very willing guy.
Was that a big goal for you guys when you think back to season ends, portals coming up, find a way to keep Brody here?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely. That was I'd say he and TK were priority 1A, 1B to keep those guys here and just believing in what we're doing here as a program and me as a coach, and just kind of know I have their best interest for them. We have their best interest for them as a program.
You brought up TJ Pride earlier. Well, we watched 2 years ago. TJ was the top wide receiver statistically as a freshman 2 years ago. I wouldn't say how does he get back to those numbers, but how does he get back to what he was as a freshman?
Well, this is what I told TJ before spring. I said, you got to remind everyone, including myself, remind everyone that I'm still that guy. He was a state champion in the state of Texas at DeSoto High School. They won 16-0, and he was making big-time plays in the Cowboy Stadium and had a lot of fun as a freshman year. And I think I told him just get back to having fun and being more confident in yourself.
Terrion Graves had a really good start to camp last year, right? And then that injury kind of sidelined him for a good chunk of the early portion of the season. What did you see from him during spring ball, and do you feel like he could be an impact guy for you in 2026?
The good thing about Terrion, every scrimmage we had out here, those were his best practices. I mean, he scored the first 2 scrimmages, he scored a touchdown in each scrimmage. one time on a jet sweep, and one time on a post right there. So he has big playability, and he's going to be a piece. I told him that we didn't get a chance to see the best version of him last season, but now he's a lot more confident in the system. He's a lot stronger. When you see him now, he's bowled up. He's putting a lot of good work in the weight room and out there in the film room, so I expect him to have a huge season.
Same thing with A.J. Williams, right? I mean, you had high expectations for him last year. He goes down with an injury that sidelines him for the whole year. Where's he at health-wise, and what can we expect from A.J. going into
Well, the one thing you're going to expect AJ's a very confident person.
He is, yeah.
I mean, he's very confident. He's not shy about letting you know that about his confidence. He's been through a lot, and for him to still have that confidence and the smile on his face, I think the world of him for that. I commend him for it. I'm expecting him to have a huge year. He's a very competitive person, very smart. I expect him to push the group in a lot of different ways there. But he's a natural leader, and I think everyone's going to be very shocked when they see him run out there and make some plays for us.
When you think back to pre-injury last year during the fall for A.J., Coach, were you surprised how easy he made the transition look from non-D1 to FBS?
Being around him, I'm not shocked. Like AJ felt he should have been there all along. He just happened to go the D3 route. He's a very, like I said, AJ does not lack confidence at all. He'll tell you right now, if you ask who's the top receiver on our team or the top receiver in the conference, he's going to say AJ Williams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What have you seen from the newcomer group so far?
The newcomers, it's been a good group there this spring. We have Miles Lippman, transferred here from Stanford, and he graduated from Stanford in 3 years, so that's impressive. He came out there and he just caught everything. He caught every ball. He's a hard-working guy. I'm excited about him, adding him to the group. Lyndon Rivar from Kennesaw State, from Kennesaw. He actually played out here.
Yeah, I remember him, yeah.
We actually played out here in the state in that. Lyndon came along huge there in the second half of spring, and he's a champion. I mean, he won the Conference USA Championship, so that's something that we want to do. So that's something huge, adding a champion to the group there. And then the freshmen, they're all kind of getting acclimated. We brought in Jalen Stokes and Jadarius Sanders, and then we have another kid, A.J. Carey. Those guys are here busting their butt, kind of getting acclimated, trying to figure out where to go and whatnot, but there'll also be some exciting guys to have around us.
I know the transfer portal isn't traditional recruiting, but when you go back to like traditional recruiting, Coach, and going to high schools and seeing guys in high schools and getting a chance to know them and recruiting for the long term, what are some qualities you're always looking for?
Well, one thing we always want to look for is speed, because speed kids, you cannot teach speed. You want to look for some guys that can run. And then as far as just a receiver standpoint, I want guys that are very, very competitive. When that ball's in the air, I want guys that have that feeling where, man, that's my football. You know what I mean? That is my football. So I want guys, obviously that can run, but guys that are very, very competitive. Not just because you'll find a lot of guys that could have all the measurables and the combine numbers, but they're not overly competitive when that ball's in the air. That's what I'm looking for. I want guys, when that ball's in the air, that's their football.
Lastly, Coach, what does your group have to do in 2026 to help this team have success?
I think we need to. Our goal right now, we want to lead the conference in third downs. We want to be masters on third down, and then in the red zone, we want to score touchdowns. I think that's something. Third down and red zone opportunities. That's what we want to excel in that, and then create explosive plays.
Good stuff, Coach. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Enjoy the rest of your summer.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Wide receivers coach Cedric Cormier, thanks for joining us, Aggie Nation.